yes, I definitely think there's something going on in the auditorium. I've heard a voice. A lot of my coworkers, custodians, Mr. B, all have different stories about weird things happening in the auditorium. I was in the auditorium. The cast, there were a few people in the auditorium with me. The cast was up at the front of the auditorium. I was in the very back in the sound booth, and I heard a little girl's voice say, "Mr. Shelley." I thought that was weird because there was nobody at the back with me. So I walked out of the booth, asked the kids if they'd asked for me. They shook their heads and looked at me like I was crazy. So I went back in the sound booth and was adjusting some sound levels, and the voice said, "Mr. Shelley," again. And at that point, it freaked me out. So I left the sound booth. Mr. Burgoyne was in the auditorium, and I mean, he could tell the story himself, but had shut everything down and was leaving the auditorium, turned the lights off, and all of the lights started flashing like on a macro. He thought one of the techies was in the booth, so he screamed, "Turn it off!" And the lights kept flashing and went up there, and the board was off, and nobody was in there.
Every school that's at least 25 or 30 years old, like our school, has ghost stories associated with it. Our school has some tunnels that were built underneath it that some claim to be haunted, and also any self-respecting theater, which would include our theater, would have haunting stories also. Early on, Jay's journal and the story behind that book was linked to the hauntings and the ghost stories that circulated through our school. However, the Jay, or the character Jay is based on in the book, never killed himself on campus. He did kill himself at home. He was buried in the PG cemetery, but they had to move his grave because so many people were putting dead animals or dead animal parts on his grave and trying to get his spirit to come back and haunt them or someone, that the police department, in cooperation with the family, relocated his grave, and only just a few people know where it is currently. So while anybody or anything could be haunting our school, we're not exactly sure if it's the character from Jay's journal or if it's some other disgruntled students who might be roaming our hallways.
I went down into the drama basement where we have all the costumes and stuff. I was over on the far wall with all the tools and stuff, and there's a door that goes into the tunnels right onto your left. And I just went down to go find some tools, and I couldn't find them, so I just kept looking and looking. And the air vent inside there kicked on, and it's a big loud noise that goes and just kind of makes everything even creepier. And so as that turned on, the door started to go like this and started shaking and shaking and shaking, because I guess it's not stable or something, and it just kind of taps and taps and taps. And that freaked me out. But the scariest part was I was just standing there, and I don't know if this was a figure of my imagination or anything, but I could hear footsteps. I swear they were just like heels inside, just coop, 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 clippy, clip clop, all inside the tunnels, and it was dead scary. I just kind of ran upstairs and then grabbed some people to come down with me because I was scared out of my pants.
And two. My hairbrush is the top, but
That'd be great.
hey, you run up there on my phone. Hey, look, Jay's name.
You hear that? That's Ghost.
Look, it says Jay.
Oh my gosh.
Jay's journal. Right there. Free basketball. Puppy dog. That's the only creepy part now, is getting caught. Jessica Nicholson. I have proof.
This stop.
Did you get that?
Yeah, let's go back.
It's locked. Did you get that?
Yes. So this is the door that just shut on us. We were in that room and we opened a door and then this door just slammed shut. We had to go all the way out and around just to turn this light off so we don't get caught. Okay, so now we're going back. Okay.